Vaping is a popular alternative to smoking traditional tobacco products, with millions of people worldwide using electronic devices to heat up a liquid and produce a vapor that is inhaled into the lungs. In this video, we'll dive deeper into this topic, and we will cover what is it and how does it work, what are the health effects, what are the dangers with advertising to a young audience, is it better or worse than regular smoking? So, what is it and how does it work? We have gone through the basics of vaping, but what exactly is it and how does it work? At its core, vaping involves the use of an electronic device known as vaporizer or e-cigarette to heat up a liquid and convert it into a vapor that can be inhaled. The liquid, also known as e-liquid or vape juice, typically contains a combination of flavorings and a base liquid such as propylene glycol or vegetable glycerin. Some e-liquids also contain nicotine, which is the addictive chemical found in traditional tobacco products. Vaping devices come in a variety of shapes and sizes, from simple pen-style devices to more complex box mods that offer advanced features and customization options. Most devices are battery-powered and feature a tank or cartridge that holds the e-liquid. Some devices also allow for adjustable settings, such as wattage or temperature, to provide a more customizable vaping experience. One of the advantages of vaping over smoking is that it can be less expensive in the long run. While the initial cost of a vaping device may be higher than that of a pack of cigarettes, the cost of e-liquid is often lower than the cost of tobacco products. Additionally, vaping can be done indoors and doesn't produce the same strong odor as smoking, making it more socially acceptable in many settings. Vaping has also become popular for its ability to offer a wide range of flavors and nicotine strength. With hundreds of e-liquid flavors available, users can choose from traditional tobacco and menthol flavors to fruity or dessert-inspired flavors. The ability to customize the nicotine strength of the e-liquid allows users to gradually reduce their nicotine intake and potentially quit smoking altogether. Additionally, vaping can require some maintenance, such as regularly replacing coils or cleaning the device. Health effects. Studies have shown that the aerosol, which is small particles found in the vapor produced by vaping, can contain potential harmful chemicals, including formaldehyde, acetaldehyde, and acrolein. These chemicals have been linked to respiratory problems and lung damage, particularly in young people whose lungs are still developing. Formaldehyde, for example, is a carcinogen that can cause cancer when inhaled in large amounts over a long period of time. According to a study by researchers at Harvard Chan School of Public Health, certain flavorings used in e-liquids can also pose health risks. For example, diacetyl, a chemical used in some e-liquid flavorings, has been linked to a severe lung disease known as popcorn lung. This condition, also known as bronchiolitis obliterans, can cause symptoms such as coughing, wheezing, and shortness of breath. In addition to the potential risks associated with the chemicals in e-liquids, there are also concerns about the long-term effects of vaping on overall health. A recent study published in American Journal of Preventive Medicine found that young adults who used e-cigarettes were more likely to develop chronic bronchitis symptoms compared to non-users. Furthermore, while vaping may be considered a safer alternative to smoking traditional tobacco products, it's important to note that it's not risk-free. The nicotine in e-liquids is still highly addictive and can have negative impacts on heart health and brain development, particularly in young people. Nicotine exposure during adolescence can lead to a long-term change in brain development, affecting learning, memory, and attention. Studies have also found that vaping can lead to an increased risk of cardiovascular disease, including heart attacks and strokes. The chemicals in e-cigarettes can damage blood vessels and lead to inflammation, which can contribute to the development of these conditions. The most common side effects of vaping include coughing, dry mouth, shortness of breath, mouth and throat irritation, as well as headaches. While these side effects are associated with inhaling the vapor, they are also known side effects of smoking. These side effects also tend to dissipate with continued vaping. So, what are the dangers with advertising to a young audience? It's no secret that e-cigarettes are heavily marketed towards young people. From fruity flavors to sleek designs, e-cigarette companies have been accused of using tactics to appeal to adolescents and teenagers. But why is this such a big deal? The truth is, there are a number of dangers associated with young people using e-cigarettes or vapes. First and foremost, the use of e-cigarettes by young people can lead to nicotine addiction. Nicotine is highly addictive and can have negative effects on developing brains. According to the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, nicotine exposure during adolescence can lead to lasting changes in brain development that can have a negative effect on attention span, learning, and mood. Additionally, there is concern that the use of e-cigarettes among young people can act as a gateway to traditional smoking. According to a study published in the Journal of American Medical Association, adolescents who used e-cigarettes were more likely to start smoking traditional cigarettes than those who did not use e-cigarettes. So why are e-cigarette companies targeting young people? It's simple. Young people represent a lucrative market. With fewer adults smoking traditional cigarettes, e-cigarette companies have turned their attention to the younger generation, and unfortunately, their tactics seem to work. According to the CDC, in 2020, over 3 million youth in the United States were using e-cigarettes. But here's the thing, we can't just blame e-cigarette companies for this trend. As a society, we need to take a closer look at the factors that are contributing to young people using e-cigarettes. This includes everything from peer pressure to the portrayal of smoking in media and pop culture. So what can we do to combat this trend? For starters, we can support policies that restrict the marketing and sale of e-cigarettes to young people. This includes implementing stricter age verification measures for online sales and cracking down on retailers who sell e-cigarettes to minors. Additionally, we can work to educate young people about the risks associated with e-cigarettes and nicotine use. Ultimately, the use of vapes among young people is a complex issue that requires a well-thought-out approach. By working together, we can help ensure that young people are not put at risk by the marketing tactics of vapes companies. So, is vaping better or worse than regular smoking? For years, the debate over whether vaping is better or worse than smoking has been raging on. Supporters of e-cigarettes argue that they are a healthier alternative to traditional cigarettes, while opponents warn of the dangers of inhaling anything other than air. So, what's the deal? Is vaping the better option, or should we stick with traditional cigarettes? Let's dive in. On one hand, it's true that vaping is generally considered to be less harmful than traditional smoking. According to a study published in the Journal of Aerosol Science, e-cigarette vapor contains lower levels of harmful chemicals than cigarette smoke. But this doesn't necessarily mean that e-cigarettes are safe. They still contain nicotine and other potential harmful chemicals that can have negative effects on the body. In fact, one study published in the journal Tobacco Control found that e-cigarette users were more likely to become addicted to nicotine than traditional cigarette smokers. This is likely due to the higher levels of nicotine present in e-cigarettes, as well as the fact that e-cigarettes can be used more frequently and in more places than traditional cigarettes. This begs the question, is vaping really the better option if it's potentially leading people down a more dangerous path? What about the long-term health effects of vaping? While research is still going on, it's clear that e-cigarettes are not without their own risks. So, what's the verdict? Ultimately, it's up to you to make informed decisions about health and well-being. While vaping may have some advantages over traditional smoking, it's important to weigh potential risks and benefits. If you're considering making the switch to vaping or trying to quit smoking altogether, make sure to consult a healthcare professional to determine the best course of action for you. After exploring the various aspects of vaping, it is clear that the topic is complex and cannot be simplified into a single conclusion. Vaping can be a safer alternative to traditional smoking for adults who are trying to quit smoking. However, it is important to note that there are still potential health risks associated with vaping, especially for young people who may be more susceptible to nicotine addiction and the negative effects of chemicals in e-cigarettes. Furthermore, the marketing and advertising tactics used by vaping companies, particularly towards younger audiences, are concerning and require further regulation to prevent the normalization and glamorization of a potential harmful habit. Ultimately, it is important to approach vaping with caution and to consider the potential risks and consequences before engaging in the behavior. While more research is needed to fully understand the long-term effects of vaping on our health, it is clear that it is not without its own potential hazards. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more exciting content very soon.